Hi, in this video we're gonna learn about the arrays in C++. So let's first start by the question why we need to use the arrays. So everything that we have taken so far, which is the variables, let's suppose we have an integer variable, and what if we decided to save another value inside our integer variable x? So if I decide, let's suppose I want to add another value, which is 6, then what's happening over here, our x variable gonna lose the value 4 and only saves the value 6. So if I print this now, all what I'm gonna get is 6. So the reason why we're gonna use the arrays is because it allows us to save multiple values in our array. So if we create an array, the way to create it is you type in the type of the array. In this example, we're gonna take it string, integer. You could also name it string or double or other type of variable. So we're gonna take it integer for this one, and we're gonna name it my array. It's up to you to name it whatever you want. And over here, you could specify you put 2 brackets, and inside this brackets, you're gonna specify the numbers of elements that's gonna be saved in your array, which is in this case my array over here. So by the number of element, we mean that how many values can our array can save. So in order to do that, we're gonna create an constant, because we don't want to change the array size mistakenly. If we give it constant, then it's the value is finalized and it's not changeable. So let's give it constant, and we're gonna name, as you guys know, if we are writing constant, then we're gonna write in capital. So let's give it name number of elements, and then we're gonna pass it over here, or let's give it value. So let's give it 5. Now over here, I'm gonna pass the number of elements. So now we have told our array that it's gonna have 5 values on. So let's specify the values that we're gonna pass. So we're gonna pass 1, 4, 8, 9, and maybe 17. Now our array has 5 elements inside, which is these ones. The first element is the number 1. This is the second element, third, 4, and 5. So we have 5 elements. So what if we decide to change this number 4 to 0? We decided to change one of the elements inside our array. To do that, you type in your array name, my array in this case, and the index of the element that you want to change. So regarding the index, there is something that important and causes a lot of confusion, which is the index starts from 0. So basically the number 1 over here has the index 0. So this is the index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, index 4. So basically the number of element is 5, but our index ends at 4. So it's like the index is number of elements minus 1. So if I decided to change the number 4, what I'm gonna put over here, I'm gonna put 1, because I would like to change the index 1, which is 4. So let's change it to 0. And so right now our array is something like this: 1, 0, 4, 8, 9. We change the number 4 to 0. And let's change another one, which is what if we decide to change the 1 to 10? The way we said the number 1 is the index 0, so we're gonna choose it, and we're gonna say 10 or 11. So this is gonna give us this 11, 0, 4, 8, 9. So you may be thinking, okay, you're gonna say let's print our array to see the changes on it. So if we do something like this, this is gonna give us some weird value. So let's run it and see what we're gonna get. We forgot the semicolon over here. Okay, great. So we got some weird value. This weird value is the address of our array. So if we print the array out over here, we have to, if we wanted to print the array, we have to use another method, because if we use this, this is not gonna give us the elements that's inside our array. Some other programming languages, when you print the array, it's gonna give you all the elements that's inside the array. But with the C++, it's just gonna give you the address of the array that's saved in the memory. So in order to get the address for the number of elements in your array, we have to use the for loop. So we're gonna say for integer I equals 0, and we're gonna say I less than number of elements. Why less than number of elements? Because we said we start from the index 0. That's why we're gonna go less than the number of elements. And then we're gonna increment I. And so we have my array. We print the out. And we're gonna leave some extra space over here. And so yeah, this is enough. So if we decide to run the program now, we're gonna get our array, which is similar to the changes we made, which is 11, 0, 8, 9, 17. So this is the way to change the elements, and this is the way to print the array. So you may be wondering what's gonna happen if we pass the number of elements in our array, which is so basically if we made this I less than or equals the number of elements. So if we put the equal over here, what's gonna happen? The program gonna when it reaches the number of elements, which is my array, the element 5, it doesn't exist, so we're gonna get a different number. So what's gonna happen over here, when it reaches to the array number of element is 5, so it's gonna say my array number 5, it doesn't exist because the 4 is the last one. So what's gonna happen over here, it's gonna go to the top and gonna take this value. So this is gonna cause confusion in our program. Unfortunately, the C++ doesn't say you that there is an error or out of the range error. It's just gonna take the another value from here. So in other languages, if you write it something different over here, so if we put 6 over here, it's gonna say the array is out of the range because you have the number of element is 5 element, and by putting 6 over here, you're saying that the number of element is 7. So that's not acceptable with some programming language, but the C++ doesn't count that as an error, so you have to be careful about that. So if I run program, you guys gonna see we got 5, even though we have our array ends at 17, which is over here. We get an extra element which is 5. So it took this value from here and put it inside our program. And we could also pass our array to a method or function, and the way to do that is just let's create a function first. So over here we're gonna create a function, void, let's name it my function, and this function gonna accept an array, which is our array, my array. So let's give it a name integer, and for array we're gonna say ARR, shortcut for array. And so yeah, and we're gonna put the semicolon over here to specify that this is the prototype for our function, so we could write it down over here. So let's write it over here. and we said it's gonna accept an our array. So what's we're gonna change the value later. Just for now, let's create how we're gonna call our function. So let's call it over here. So if we call my function, and the way to pass the array for it, what you have to do, just type in the array name. You don't have to specify the brackets over here. So don't put the brackets. If you put the brackets, like you're going to specify, like if you put the brackets and the number of elements, you're telling the program pass only this value, which is like it's gonna think that you are just gonna pass the only one element from inside the array, not the whole array. So in order to pass the whole array, you just type in the array name. So by this, we're gonna call our function. This function gonna call, and one thing with regarding the arrays is when we pass it to the function, any change that we make to the array inside the function is gonna also apply for our original array. So it's not so if we pass like another variable, integer or something like that, the changes that we make to the inside the function, if we don't return the changes, then the changes will throw away. But regarding the arrays, that's not gonna happen. So let's change a value inside our array, or before calling the array, let's see what we have in our array, and after that. So right now we have the we forgot to make it less than number of elements. Right now in our array we have 1, 4, 8, 9, 17. So what if we decided to change the elements inside our function? So we're gonna say array 0 is gonna equal 0. Array maybe 1 gonna equal 0. Array 2 gonna equal 0. So the changes that I'm making inside this function is gonna apply it over here too. So if I call our function one more time, which was my function, and we pass the my array. If I call it this time, you guys are gonna see that there is gonna be some changes in our array. As you guys see, these all elements went to 0 because the changes that we make inside our function is also applies to our array. So thank you for watching this video.